Hello to our viewers. Good morning, everyone. We are very excited to have you in this webinar. So today we are going to be talking about studying abroad. How do you get to apply to top universities in countries like the UK, USA, Australia, Canada, among other destinations? But before we dive into the discussion, I would like us to introduce ourselves, beginning with myself. My name is Prosi Namatovu. I'm a student advisor at SEBO International, and I do specialize in offering career guidance and counseling to students who would like to study abroad in countries like UK, USA, Canada, Australia, among other destinations. So before I take you through on how to apply to top universities in the UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, among other destinations, I would like to also let my colleagues, Cynthia and Zerida, introduce themselves and also briefly give you um, an insight of what they'll be talking about today. So, Cynthia.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Happy to have you here. I'm Cynthia Tebandeke, Student Advisor at Sebo International, and I'll be taking you through the right steps in choosing the right course. Taking you through the steps in choosing the right course and country for your study abroad destination, as well as the scholarships and funding. Thank you.
Good morning and hello everyone. Welcome to this great and informative webinar that we're having today at Sebo International Uganda. I'm Zerida Adikin and I'm a student advisor. I'll be taking you through how Sebo International Uganda will be guiding you and helping you through the whole process of study abroad from applications until your pre-departure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my colleagues Cynthia and Zerida, for those wonderful introductions. So I will start with how we can apply to top universities in the UK, USA, Canada, and Australia. Um, So applying to top universities in the UK, USA, Canada, and Australia involves a multi-step process that generally includes academic preparation, standardized tests, and application materials. It is very crucial for you to research the specific requirements for each institution and country as they may vary. So we have general steps that we can consider when applying to top universities abroad in the countries I just mentioned, the UK, USA, Australia, and Canada. So I came up with about 7 steps that we can follow while we are trying to apply to top universities abroad. So number one, you'll have to research and select universities. So you need to identify a university and program that aligns with your academic interests and career goals. What do you want to study? What is your passion? Um, so based on your passion and interest, you will choose a university that best serves your career interest and um, inspiration. So as you are researching about a program and a university that you want to study, you will consider factors like university reputation, faculty, resources, and student to teacher ratio. Does the university you're choosing um, have a faculty that offers your preferred program? Do they have the enough resources to equip you with the practical skills you need for that particular program you need to take on? What is the student to teacher ratio? How many students are attended to by one teacher? So those are very, very key factors that you need to consider when looking out for a university and yeah, for a university to take on. So you can do all that research by exploring the university websites for detailed information on the courses available. Check if they have your particular program of interest. You can also be able to see the entry requirements and the application procedures. So after you've researched and selected a university of your choice, you will want to ensure that you're academically prepared. That's our next step, academic preparation. Do you have the minimum academic requirements for the chosen level of study? Say, for instance, you want to do an MBA, that's a postgraduate course. So in order for you to do a postgraduate course, you realize that you need to have a bachelor's degree. Um, you need to have a bachelor's degree. So are you academically prepared? Do you have the bachelor's degree that is required for you to apply for a postgraduate course? If you're a high school student and you want to apply for an undergraduate program or bachelor's program, check yourself. Do you have the high school academic requirements? Do you have the A levels? Do you have the GCE for the international curriculum? Do you have the IB or BTech that is required for you to apply for your specific level of interest? So so after you've ensured that you're academically prepared, you will want to look at the standardized tests. So most universities require students to take on standardized tests like the English proficiency tests, just like IELTS, Duolingo, it's PSI, the TOEFL, PTE. So you need to carefully look at the program that you're taking on in that university. Is it requiring you to take on a standardized test like IELTS? If you find out that the university is requiring you to do IELTS, carefully look at the scores you need to get in that IELTS test and ensure that you take on the test and get the right score that can get you admitted to that program. I am very glad to say that at Sebo International, we can book for you the test, especially IELTS, and we also have tutors that can teach you, that can coach you effectively before you take on the test. So there are also standardized aptitude tests. You realize that some programs in countries like the US and Australia, especially MBA, may require you to do the SATs, the GRE, the GMATs. So you need to also ensure that you look at that requirement carefully and make sure that you get the right scores for the GRE or GMATs. So after you've ensured that you've done your IELTS, you've done the GREs or GMATs as may be requested, as may be required by the program you've chosen, you want to prepare the application requirements. So what are the application requirements in this case that you need to have in order to apply to a university abroad? So first and foremost, you need to ensure that you have the proof of identity, in this case, a passport. So before you start thinking of applying to a university abroad, you need to ensure that you have a valid passport that is not expired. It should be valid. Then number two, you need to ensure that you have your transcripts and certificates. So you have to submit your official transcripts from your previous institutions, just like I mentioned earlier. If you want to do a postgraduate program, for example, you have to ensure that you have your bachelor's transcript and certificate from the university. And if you want to do a bachelor's program, you have to ensure that you have your UCE and USCE certificates for the local curriculum. And then for the international curriculum, you have to make sure that you have your GC, General Certificate of Education, transcripts and certificates, and then your GCSE certificates and transcripts. So you also need to get letters of recommendation. You request letters of recommendation from teachers or professors that can attest to your academic abilities and potential. So you also need to get a personal statement or statement of purpose. So some destinations call it a personal statement and others call it a statement of purpose. UK, for instance, call it a personal statement. Australia call it a statement of purpose, but these all mean the same. So it is basically an essay that you write to the admissions team explaining why you're particularly interested in applying for a particular course, why you're looking at that particular university, and then also why you're choosing a country. Say, for instance, you want to do an MBA in UK or you want to do medicine in UK. So you need to write a compelling essay explaining why you're choosing to do that course, why in that university, and then also why in that destination. So after getting your passport, transcripts, letters of recommendation, and personal statement, you also want to ensure that you have a CV. So CV, some call it resume, should be including details about your academic achievements, your work experience, extracurricular activities, and other relevant information like the skills you may have or references, the people that know you. Ensure that you clearly indicate all that in your CV so as to make it easy for the admissions team while making a decision to give you an offer. Next is a portfolio. So you realize that some programs, especially in the arts and design departments, require you to have a portfolio showcasing your creative work. So for those that want to do architecture or arts and design, ensure that you get a portfolio as well as one of your application requirements. So after we have gotten the application requirements ready, then we can start the application process. I'm very glad to tell you that at SEBO International, we can help you apply to a program of your choice in your desired destination and in your preferred university. We do partner with over 500 universities across in all the countries I mentioned earlier, so we can be able to apply for you wherever you want, so long as it's a partnering university. And for those that we don't partner with, we can also help you apply. If you're an undergraduate student and you're looking to study, for instance, in the UK, you can apply through UCORS. And if you're looking to study in the US, you can apply through Shorelights. You can apply through, Shorelights or Common App. And then for Canada, you can apply through OCAS or Education Planner BC. But I would kindly advise that for more information about how to apply, you come to us, SEBO International Advisors. We can help you quickly apply and enable you to get an offer. So before you make an application, you need to pay close attention to the application deadlines. Um, For instance, we have had some students coming towards the end of the intake and they want us to put in an application. So as you're making research about a program and a university, you need to ensure that you are applying within the right time in order for you to be able to get admitted on your course. So after you've applied, the next step after applying will be acceptance and pre-enrollment. So after you've applied, you'll be getting an acceptance or an offer from a university. Universities usually first give out conditional offers. So you need to ensure that you meet or satisfy all the conditions of the offer and pay tuition fees. so as to get to the next step of the visa application. So usually after paying tuition fees, you'll be given another offer, that is the unconditional offer. And then from the unconditional offer, you'll be given a specific document or letter that can allow you to progress to visa stage. Now, for those that want to go to the UK, after you've gotten your unconditional offer, you need to ensure that you get CAS. CAS is a confirmation of acceptance for studies that you get from a university after they have ensured that you've satisfied the conditions, you've paid tuition, and you are the right student to be admitted on that program. So you get CAS, and then you'll be able to progress to applying for your visa. And then for those that want to go to Canada, you need to ensure that after paying your tuition fees, you have to get an LOA, which is a letter of acceptance, and a PAL, that is a provisional attestation letter that can allow you to progress to the visa stage. And then for those that would like to go to the US, you need to ensure that you have your I-20 ready before you progress. Australia, you need a COE that can allow you proceed to the visa stage. So after you have gotten an offer and you've gotten the proper document or letter that can allow you to go to proceed to visa, then you can apply, you can proceed to the visa application stage. So obviously, international students are required to apply for a student visa for the country they plan to study in. So the visa application process can vary country by country and may require additional documentation. So I'll quickly be taking you through the next slide, which is a step-by-step guidance through the visa process to the UK, USA, Canada, and Australia. So what happens next after you've gotten your CARS, after you've gotten your LOA and PAL and COE, what happens next? So you're definitely going to the visa process. But the visa application process for all the countries, UK, Canada, Australia, USA, and other destinations, also involves a series of steps that one needs to consider before you apply. You need to consider the following steps before you apply for your student visa. Number one, determine the type of visa and identify the appropriate visa category. So in this case, obviously, it's the student visa that you need in order to travel to your preferred destination and university and study your course. So after you've identified the appropriate visa category, which is the student visa, you will have to gather the required documents. So collect all the necessary documents, such as valid passports. You need to have your valid passports that can allow you to travel to another country. That can allow you to travel and stay in another country. So ensure that you do not have an expired passport. It should be a current passport. You need to also have your academic documents. Then sponsorship letters. So sponsorship letters, you may want to also get a parent's consent letter if your parents are the ones that are sponsoring you, or if it's government or maybe an institution sponsoring you, you need to ensure that you also have that letter. It will be very important for you as you apply for your visa. Besides that, you need to also check the financial documents are also very important at the visa stage. Sorry, I did not include it here, but you need to really ensure that you have appropriate bank statements. For instance, for the UK, you need to have a 28 days bank statement showing a closing balance that includes your annual living expenses plus your annual tuition fees. So for UK, you need to have a 28 bank statement that you submit while you're making your visa application. And then for Canada, you need to have at least 6 months bank statement showing your annual tuition fees and living expenses. So annual tuition fees for Canada is 22,850 uh, Canadian dollars. So on that, you add on the amount of your annual tuition fees and ensure that that amount in total is shown as a closing balance for the last 6 months. And then for US, you need to show at least a three months bank statement, also showing your annual living expenses and tuition fees as required by your program of choice to a university that you have chosen. So after you've gathered all the required documents, you'll have to complete the visa application form. Still here at Sebo International, we have a team of expertise when it comes to visa applications. We will guide you on how to complete the visa application form to ensure that you do not make any mistakes that could jeopardize your visa. So after you've completed the form, you need to ensure that you have the visa fees and insurance fees ready. So visa fees and insurance fees differ depending on the destination you're going to. Um, Depending on the destination you're going to, yes. But at Sebo International, we can take you through and clearly calculate for you the insurance fees and the visa fees that you need to have ready before starting the visa application process. So some destinations require you to have an interview, while others require you to do biometrics. UK, for instance, will require you to have biometrics. So after you have filled in your visa application form and submitted all the required documents, you need to go to schedule an appointment when to do your biometrics. Other destinations like the US, for instance, you have to do an interview. So you need to ensure that you prepare thoroughly for that interview. And I'm so glad to inform you that at Sebo International, we can properly coach you and prepare you before you go for the visa interview to ensure that you get your visa application turns out to be a success. So after you have submitted your visa application, you've done your biometrics, you've done your interview, you will have to track your visa application. So you can follow the progress of your visa application using the provided tracking number or online, or you can check on the online portal to see the progress of your visa application. So lastly, you will need to collect your passport or visa. If your visa is approved, you will be notified and provided instructions on how to collect your passport and visa. So that's it about how we can apply to top universities in Canada, UK, USA, Australia, and Canada. And those are the steps, the general steps that you need to go through while you're preparing to put in your visa application. I will request my colleague Cynthia to take you through on the tips on selecting the right course and country. Thank you so much.
Hello once again. So I'll be taking you through the tips on selecting the right course and study destination. As one looks at the right course and study destination, we always ask or advise one to consider one's career goals or aspirations, the background and budget. When we speak about the background, we mean academic background, right? When you're looking at applying for the right course, at least you need to look for a course that marries with your previous course combination or studies. Below are some of the tips we ask one to consider. One, you should know at least your interests and strengths. This is going to help you choose the right course. At least it will be in line with your passion, with your skills and career aspirations. You must consider your long-term or future goals. What you want to become, for example, if you want to become a doctor, you must know the right medical course to do. If you want to become a surgical or a surgeon, a surgeon in a specific field, you should know the right pathway to take as well. You must consider career prospects. With career prospects, we ask you to look into the availability of the job opportunities after graduation. Besides that, we ask you to look into the growing trends in the job market. You can use different platforms to make comparisons and see which market or which career would fit best in your career goals. One should consider checking the course content. With the course content comes with a course description, course units, so on and so forth. You should see if your curriculum is acceptable in different universities. Different curriculums, for some universities, for some curriculums are not accepted. You'd find that in some countries, they don't take in the IB curriculum, while some other countries take in the IB curriculum. So you should consider that. You should look into the intakes. The intakes, this is for most countries, the main intake is September. Other countries have January, February, some have mid-year intakes and later in the year like November and October as well. So you must know the intakes of the courses so it would help you plan better. Then you should look into which universities are more research oriented or those that offer more practical experience, right? Then you should look at the duration of courses and the structure. Um, Different courses have different durations. You would find that in different countries, courses vary for 4 years, and some countries, the courses vary for 3 years. Those are the bachelors. You'd find that in some countries, you can't do a master's before a postgraduate diploma or a postgraduate certificate. You must have all those considerations on board. Then you must consider the accreditations and recognitions. As you look out for universities, you need to look out for highly accredited universities and globally recognized universities. It helps you also as you're applying for jobs. When one sees you come from a top ranked university that's globally accredited, at least they have a good say of the university and they know of its accreditations and recognitions. For the right country, one should consider different tips or different guidelines. One can consider the postgraduate opportunities. To talk about this in detail, you should look out and see if the career or the course you have applied to actually has postgraduate opportunities. There is applying for a course that does not have so many postgraduate opportunities or careers on board. Then one should consider the cost of living or cost of living and the tuition fees. As a summation of both the cost of living and the tuition fees would give you an insight on the budget you're planning to or you're looking at spending in your study abroad journey. Honestly, studying abroad can be very expensive in some countries, so you must know at least for each country the living costs vary. We would see that at least in UK, universities within London have living costs of around £13,347 per year, and those outside London have £10,224 per year. So each country and each university, depending on its location, the living costs vary. Also, depending on the course or the pathway you're looking at, the tuition fees vary as well. Besides, when we talk about the living costs, we speak about the food costs, accommodation costs, upkeep, transportation, so on and so forth. Then you should consider the language and culture. As international students, we often get culture difference shocks and language barriers. Where we go to some countries where English is not the most spoken language, yet we come from English speaking countries. So we find difficulty in communication. You must consider this to choose a country where English at least is the official language. That's looking into the English speaking countries and at least student friendly countries, countries where there is not so much racism, so on and so forth. There is not so much discrimination that would beat you up emotionally to put you down. Then you need to look at the visa and immigration rules of each country. It's important to understand the visa requirements and immigration rules and compare them and see where you sit. For some countries, you would see that they are sanctioned. They don't allow students coming from some regions of so from some regions of Africa, maybe, or outside Africa as well. So you must consider and know all this, because you can apply to a university and they reject you because of your nationality. Then you also need to know that you need to look out for for a country that at least offers postgraduate work visas. Postgraduate work visas would also help you in settlement and so on. Then the education quality and reputation of the country as well. Looking for globally recognized and accredited universities in those countries is also a plus. For this also goes back to knowing the course you want to do. For different courses, you'd find that different countries are ranked differently. So this also marries the same for the course. Then I've actually explained the last point. In the comments, someone asked about scholarships. Yes, we do have scholarships, and different countries have different scholarships. Here we'll talk about different scholarships and the funding for the different countries. For each and every country, we have at least international student scholarships, where universities give off waivers. Waivers would range between at least 2,000 to 6,000 US dollars, Canadian dollars, or pounds, depending on the country. Then there are sibling scholarships in some universities. Not all universities offer sibling scholarships, but some do. Sibling scholarship is more like, if this year your sister or brother goes to the university and next year you also join, a university can appreciate and give you a sibling scholarship because you have brought in a sister or brother. Then we have what we call an early bird discount. When one is given an offer, one is entitled to make a tuition deposit. Tuition deposit is part of the total fees of your tuition. Most universities tag a deadline to when you're supposed to make a tuition deposit and an early bird deadline. So if you make that deposit before that early bird deadline elapses, then you can get the early bird discount. We have the Academic Excellence Scholarship. The Academic Excellence Scholarship is more of a scholarship given to merit students. Merit students are those that have excelled academically, either undergraduate or postgraduate. So you'd find universities giving to up to at least 50% or others fully funded, so long as your academic grades are very good. Then we have the Chevening Scholarship for the UK. This is a scholarship that's given for international students, usually to fully fund their accommodation, tuition, as well as travel expenses. It's given to motivate potential leaders mostly. Then for the funding, different countries have different funding bodies. For the UK, you can pay tuition for yourself, your parents, the government of your country, a multinational company, student loans or grants, and scholarship grants from schools. Scholarship grants are some of those that we have listed above, I explained above. And then when we talk about multinational companies are companies that appear not only in your country, but in more than one country, right? For such companies, they're allowed to sponsor students in the UK. This does not happen for every country. In the US, unlike the UK, you cannot sponsor yourself in the US. And here, your parents can sponsor you. You can have guardians sponsoring you. That's your auntie or uncle showing valid relations. With valid relations, they need to present a birth certificate showing either your grandmom or your granddad in as the same for one of your parents as well. Then the government of your country as well can sponsor you. Student loans as well as sponsoring bodies and scholarships from the employer or from your employers. For Canada, we look at parents, guardians, just as the US, the government, student loans, and scholarship grants from the schools. Scholarship grants are the early bird discounts, the international school student scholarship, and sibling scholarship. That's for the plus academic excellence. That's for Canada. For Australia, we look at the parents and guardians. This goes for brothers and sisters as well, and siblings as well. Sharing relation. So if your sibling is going to pay for your tuition in Australia, they must provide their birth certificate as well. With a birth certificate, we would see that you have a parent in common, either the dad or the mom or both. Then the government of your country, student loans and scholarship grants as well. Thank you. My colleague Zerida will take on.
Thank you so much. Um, yeah, so basically with this, I'm going to just take you through. I won't go into so much detail because a lot has already been spoken by my colleagues. So I'll just take you through, what SEBO does as a whole. First and foremost, you need to understand that SEBO International, we are a professional education consultancy, and we do assist students who are interested in studying abroad. Yes, so as SEBO International, we help you, of course, to give you information, insightful information on career guidance and counseling. Yeah, so if you meet our counselors, for example, if you come to our offices, which we highly recommend, because usually you cannot give all the information online, you can't give all the information in a phone call or in a message or an email, but when you meet someone physically, it becomes easier for you. Yeah, and then we also do university and country selection. So we basically guide you through university selection basing on your course of choice and then also your country of destination. We also help you through the university applications and admission support. That's once you've already been admitted. We guide you through the next steps after you've been admitted. Yeah, once that is done, we of course go through also the visa guidance and application assistance. So that means we guide you through the steps, visa requirements, we guide you through the visa application. We basically do assist you in doing the visa application so you do not get stuck in any spot. We also carry out pre-departure briefings for students. We usually organize sessions where we invite students from different capacities to come and interact with other students going to the same country, going to the same university. We help you and guide you through. We also do accommodation bookings. Yeah, we do book accommodation for students. For example, a student will have already been admitted, they've paid their tuition, and the next thing, of course, you have to book accommodation. You find students who are stuck on what to do next. But with SEBO International, we are here to guide you through the whole process and help you through the booking process. Yeah, then we also we guide students on university enrollments. Yeah, so once a student has already been admitted into the school, we have done the visa application, you have received your visa, we have done pre-departure, and now you're traveling. Yeah, you're traveling. So we ensure a student enrolls successfully in the school. Yeah, so as my colleagues already spoke about the English proficiency test, we do help you through the training process and also the booking process. With that said, we're now going to our Q&A session. Please feel free to ask all the questions that you need answered. And if you have any burning question or concern, please let us know. Yeah, you can write in the comment section because unfortunately you may not be able to speak. But if you write under the chat, we shall be able to answer. My colleagues are all set for any questions. Please feel free, type into the chat box, and then we shall answer your questions. Thank you. I see a question on how long does the training take? Yeah, it's coming. Usually the training takes 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, 2 hours per session. That means you have 10 sessions in a week. I hope that has been answered. Yeah, for Nicholas, we are going to share our screen that has our contacts, and then you can always, yeah, you can reach out, share your contact details. We can also get in touch with you. You can write, you can go to our website, and then there's another question. Yeah, about our location that has been shared. We are located on Lumumba Avenue at Rumi Towers, ground floor. Oh, yes. So Cynthia, I see there's a question about scholarships. Kindly help me answer that. And then, yeah, we can take it on from there. Thank you.
Yes, up here you asked if we help link people to companies and organizations that offer scholarships. Besides universities, we do not help you link you to the other organizations. All we have are scholarships from the universities. Robin asked how often then do scholarship offers come? I would say each international student is at least given or is entitled to a scholarship, so long as there are conditions attached to these scholarships. So long as you make your tuition deposit on time, you'd get the early bird scholarship. If you're a merit student, you'd get the academic excellence scholarship, right? There are different scholarships. So long as you match up for those scholarships, the university gives it to you. They do not limit. Some years would have seats or limits to them, but many are not limited. Yes, please. Nicholas, you asked if you have an error in the national ID of 1 year and academic documents. Can this affect your admission? Yes, it could, because it could entail you're two different people, but we work with supporting bodies that help. We would advise you to get in touch with a company lawyer that helps you with that. Yes, they'll give you guidelines and the documentation needed to provide to correct that error, but it can be corrected. David asked how many intakes are there. Each country has different intakes, I would say. Some countries have up to 4 intakes in a year. That would be January, there would be one in March or in May, June. Then there would be a September intake and a November or October. The intakes depend on the country you are looking at. If it's the UK, would advise you to look at least January and September. If it's Canada, would advise you to look into the same, then add May to that. If it's the US, still January, September. If it's Australia, would advise you to look into February, July, and October. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cynthia. We are waiting for some more questions. Oh, yeah, Nicholas is asking if you have any physical webinars. Now for physical webinars, it wouldn't really be a physical webinar. It would be you coming to meet us and have a one-on-one with us. Yeah, so it won't really be a physical webinar, but it will be a one-on-one meeting. So Nicholas, you're welcome to come and meet the team for your
Just
guidance.
Just to throw more light on what my colleagues already said, yes, most times we have open days here at office where we have university representatives coming in from different universities to come and share different information to take us through and at least give us an insightful view of their universities. You're always welcome. You can follow us on our social media platforms. We always put out when these open day webinars happen, and we expect the general public to attend as well.